Hi there. I'm going to do a review for The Wizard of Oz. This movie came out in 1939 and basically stars Judy Garland as Dorothy. Um, it's the quintessential classic movie. It inspired quite a few movies that came later. More or less the story. It's all pure fantasy. This movie came in that time when they weren't really trying to make anything serious. This came in the golden age of Hollywood. And it also came at a time when they were testing out new Technicolor films. So, of course, you have the opening sequence where it's all like kind of a grayed out, brownish grayed out color palette. And then suddenly, when they need to show you The Wizard of Oz, they show you it. It's all color bound. Nonetheless, story starts out pretty basic. Dorothy's going through the motions of life. Of course, she's got her little dog named Toto, and it's a funky little movie. It's I don't think that it could have been done. It was made at that time when it was a very whimsical Hollywood, and it was made particularly to appeal to a genre. But nonetheless, great movie. Um, Basic structure is Dorothy's going through the motions of life. She's going to going around the market, going to her family and friends, going around the neighborhood. She's a farmer out in what is it? I think Kansas. I think that's actually what they specify. Nonetheless, what happens is that a tornado wreaks havoc on their neighborhood, and Dorothy has to seek shelter in her house, and her house gets picked up. And instead of the usual events happening that causes probably pretty bad things to happen in a tornado, instead the house lands quite nicely on the top of in the middle of this new land that's in color. And of course, Dorothy learns that she's now in the land of Oz, and house manages to squash the Wicked Witch of the East, and she ends up meeting Glinda, the good witch of what is the North. Doesn't really matter. Good witch versus bad witch. And of course, Glinda throws her some shade, saying, "Are you a good witch or are you a bad witch? Good witches are pretty and bad witches are ugly." "Oh, I'm a very good witch." She says, "I'm not a witch at all." Nonetheless, yeah, the whole proceedings is that Dorothy gets a hold of the slippers from the Wicked Witch of the East, and of course, this happens to the sister of the Wicked Witch of the West. Um, Not only does she fall in the land of Oz, she finds out there's a whole bunch of different creatures there, there's different people, there's a lot of different things. The land of Oz is filled with little small people and also a bunch of other creative creatures. And she ends up going there, and of course, some of these characters are actually the in joke of some of the characters in the real world. In the real world, one of her neighbors is actually a mean spirited older woman played by Margaret Hamilton. And this woman ends up playing the Wicked Witch of the West in green makeup. And of course, the whole joke is that the Wicked Witch of the West is kind of just a very angry person who is angry now that Dorothy killed her sister, who was the Wicked Witch of the East. And so they have to, and and she gets very angry about this, but nonetheless she disappears anyways. And Dorothy basically is wondering how she's going to get back to the land of Oz. Well, Linda, of course, is a little bit silly about this, and she says you have to go see the Wizard of Oz in order to find out how to get back to Oz. Instead of just telling her how the slippers work. Maybe she didn't know how the slippers worked, maybe she did, who knows. Nonetheless, what this ended up entailing is a huge trip across Oz. And you get to see the color tones of Oz because the real world is in black and white or semi brown color toning. It's not in true black and white. And you get to the land of Oz, and it's been done in the great Technicolor. This is one of the first great uses of Technicolor 2. I don't think this was definitely not the first movie to ever use Technicolor cameras. They were particular about how they were using them because they were relatively new technology at the time. They were big, they were heavy, they were cumbersome. Nonetheless, they got the Technicolor cameras. And it ended up working out pretty good because they get a lot of stuff in there that you would normally have. I mean, the color of the flowers, the color of the grass, everything is a heightened tone of color. This is pretty much the standard issue for Technicolor is it really brought out the color zones. Nonetheless, Dorothy heads off to the Wizard of Oz. And, of course, she meets up with a couple of different characters, particularly a scarecrow who has been managing a farm for quite a long time, apparently. But, of course, he's been a little tired of standing there. He meets Dorothy. And, of course, this starts off a friendship between Dorothy and the Scarecrow. And they go on their prancing way, celebrating the Wizard of Oz. The song is featured multiple times. They sing a lot. Next character on the list is I believe, the Cowardly Lion. And they meet the Cowardly Lion, who, of course, is not really a lion. He's played by an actor. A real lion, I think, would have been a little harder to control at that time period. Nonetheless, these people are all dancing around to the Wizard of Oz. Occasionally, you get to see whiffs of the Wicked Witch of the West because she's following Dorothy all the way to the Land of Oz. She's following her all the way to the Emerald City. And then she actually, and then the final character they meet is, I believe, the Tin Man. And the Tin Man's got a problem because at first he's not oiled up. They had to oil him up rather heavily to get him to loosen up and be able to talk and everything, be able to move around again. He had been seized up for quite a long time. But nonetheless, the whole joke is they head off to the Wizard of Oz. And there's some oddball sequences, one including a pile of flowers they go through that ends up knocking them out for a bit. They have to end up having to overcome this problem and back on their way. And they get to they get to the Emerald City, and this is a fairly significant city in the Wizard of Oz. It's a full city. Of course, it's got people in it, but it's also green. It's all green. Everybody's dressed in green. It's all green. This is all based on a book to the Wizard of Oz. In the book, I believe that the Emerald City is so bright and so colorful that you have to actually wear glasses to the Emerald City. In this movie, though, they didn't bother with that. They just said, it's fine, it's good. You just come to the Emerald City and it's fine. And the Emerald City is all in the spick and span, and they actually get everybody all cleaned up, actually. They get the Scarecrow all filled up with straw. They clean up the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion is given his appropriate nail trimmings and stuff like that. And, of course, everybody's singing different songs. Eventually, they make the Wizard of Oz, and the wizard ends up being a bit of a mischievous type, of course. He's not really a wizard. They find this out. They said, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, is the infamous saying. And they go and find out that he's actually just a guy that came in from Kansas, just like Dorothy did. In fact, not terribly long before she arrived there, he arrived there. It's all good in the end. Basically, Dorothy has to find out how to get back to Kansas. She finds out she has to tap the slippers 3 times to be sent back. And the Wizard of Oz finds out that basically he can go back. He's got a little balloon ride thing for doing that. Nonetheless, it does teach. It's a fairly simplistic story. There's nothing really amazing about it. It's not. It's a fine children's story for the time. Today it feels a little bit antiquated, I think, but I mean it works out. It's a good movie. Basically, they have to figure out, the whole gist of the story. Actually, there's a dark joke in this story about the Land of Oz is that is that Glinda watched out all the other people were removed from their positions. So the Wicked Witch of the East, the Wicked Witch, oh yeah, the Wicked Witch of the West, unfortunately meets her end because Dorothy finds out that she is allergic to water, very severely allergic. She melts at it. She had to go meet against the Wicked Witch of the West because the Wicked Witch of the West had her stored in an area, and she eventually accidentally drops water on her, and that's what happens is that she melts down, and everybody's like, "Oh, is she dead finally? Oh, good, she's dead." Nonetheless, the story ends up ending with the wizard leaving the land of Oz. Dorothy leaves, and of course, now that the Wicked Witch of the East and West are gone, Glinda's home free. So of course this opens her up. So now she gets to rule Oz, and we'll find out. We never do find out if she's actually a good witch or not. But nonetheless, great movie. It's a simple children's tale, not to be taken seriously. It's straightforward stuff. The land is very colorful. Technicolor is used very well here. The slippers are red ruby slippers, so they're shown off very much in this movie. Yeah, it's good movie.